Oh boy, it has been one of them days. Let us get this game up on the board and continue on to where we were. It's been a while, but I feel, well, I don't want to say functional. That'd be overstating it, but I'm no longer feeling ill, so we can continue with that. Every day is a struggle to function. So fragile. Which is why this stream, which is supposed to start at 8, is starting about 12 minutes late. That's okay. We're here now, and we're continuing. Alright, the Monstrous Turnabout. Investigation Day 2, the truth about possession. Alright, so we talked to him. We're supposed to go back to... Hold on. It's my cognitive support tab. Jinxie. Find out what Jinxie is lying about and investigate her alleged possession. She's probably out here. Or in Yokai Lane. Oh. No, we talked to you. No? Was this going back to the detention center? No. April 18, detention center, visitor's room. Lord Tenma, your attorneys are here to see you, malevolence. Why are you speaking like that? Oh, good heck. There's more fluids in my throat just to start with. Oh, Mayor Tenma, you've returned. Yes, well, Jinxie came by earlier to apply a new charm to my head. It seems to be suppressing the demon within me. That's a relief. Maybe we'll actually get somewhere this time. So, what can I do for you today? We'd like to ask about the rumor that Jinxie's possessed. She allegedly left the yokai evidence at the scene while under a demon's power. At least that's what the prosecution is going to claim at tomorrow's trial. Huh? No match is this warning charm for me. The charm. Temataro's back. Those foolish mortals. They shall regret blaming that child for my doings. I blew it. That question brought that yokai back. He probably won't drop the act until Jinxie's name is cleared either. Well, rumor about Jinxie. We'd like to ask you something about your... we'd like to ask you something. Huh? We'd like to ask you about something your aide, Florent LaBelle, mentioned. Did you know Jinxie is rumored to be possessed? I know none of what you speak. You're not trying to protect Jinxie, are you? I, Tenma Taro, Demon Lord of the Yokai, protect a mere mortal? No affections do I possess for your race of humans. Please, we already proved there was a third party disguised as yokai at the scene. But if you deny that tomorrow, we'll never be able to clear Mayor Tenma's name. But I have already told you. I know not of what you speak. I don't think we'll get anything more out of it. It's all over unless we can somehow prove that Jinxie didn't plant that yokai evidence. Hi, Apollo. I think we got this one. I think I can prove she didn't do it. Really? Sure. I should be able to use psychology to explain that whole possession thing. Knock yourself out then. Wow, I think it's really something. I can really count on her when it counts. The real story. Oh no. Mayor Tenman, Jinxie isn't possessed. I believe her so-called possession episodes are a form of somnambulism. Somnambulism? You mean sleepwalking? Yes. I believe she's exhibited a rare form of the disorder. It's usually brought on by repressed stress. Mr. Mayor, didn't your symptoms start soon after she began her job in Ninetales Vale? When the child visited last, she did speak of dreading yokai and how they rob her of sleep each night. I knew it. That lack of sleep is causing her to enter an unconscious state. And that means she can't be trying to protect you, at least not on a conscious level. So then, the Tenmataro that was spotted at the manor wasn't Jinxie? Sleepwalking, eh? Huh. That would indeed explain the matter. Look, Tenmataro's spirit. He's left the mayor's body. Can you tell us the truth now, Mayor Tenma? Very well. It's the least I could do for a superb exorcist such as you. Feathers and tracks. Mayor Tenma, you didn't leave those feathers at the tracks, feathers and tracks at the scene, did you? I did not. Neither I nor Jinxie have anything to do with that. That was the killer's doing, no doubt. I knew it. You suspect Florent is behind all this? But why? Did he really want Ninetales Vale that badly? Can you think of any reason why? Looking back, he did seem fixated on Tenmataro for a spell. Could it be? Perhaps he was attempting to release Tenmataro. That's crazy. Are you saying that yokai is real? Whatever the case, Tenmataro brings nothing but pain and misfortune. It's as the superstitions warn. You must not gaze upon him, nor free him from his prison. But how can people actually believe that? We went in there and we opened it up ourselves, yo. It's a bit of an oops. Well, at least we know who's behind this whole Tenmataro thing now. Yeah, and I think we need to have another nice, long chat with Mr. LaBelle. Your dinner's ready, Your Malevolence. An offering to the Demon King. You may place it right there. Kitchen crew poured their heart and soul into making it. Did they now? Souls happen to be a favorite of mine. Just hold the hearts next time. Caw, 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 caw. Yes, Your Malevolence. I'll remember that. How long is he planning to keep up this yokai charade? Well, we've already talked to Mr. Filch and Mayor Tenma, so why don't we go see Florent LaBelle next? Now that we know the truth. He won't be able to claim that Tenmataro is Jinxie or the mayor anymore. But the real question is, how are we going to get him to admit it was him? April 18, QB Manor, Foyer. Okay, now let's practice that again, Filchy, from the top. Mr. LaBelle was in the foyer at the time of the crime. And when we, heard a scream, oh heck, what was the next part again? Ah! You have the memory capacity of a flea. This is the 30th time, you know. Now 100 times more and we're done. What on earth are they practicing? Oh, I ain't cut out for this. Whoopsie daisy. Oh, begging your pardon, Mr. LaBelle, sir. It's just all this practice, yipes. Unbelievable! What if you had solid my outfit with those grubby paws of yours? Did Filch LaBelle's wallet just now? So, what do you think they're up to this time, Apollo? Oh, it's you two. Eavesdropping, are we? You peasants are so tacky. Well, what do you want from me? I did not want to make that shape. Heck. Your confession to being the Tenmatara imposter would be nice right about now. Donald's true identity. Mr. Filch filled me in on a conversation you two had. And about how you told him not to say a word about seeing Temataro. Filch, you fool! I told you nothing good would come of you running your mouth. So why did you want to keep Mr. Filch quiet like that, Mr. LaBelle? Why, to protect darling little Jinxie, of course. But Jinxie was never really possessed. She was sleepwalking. Being asleep at the time, she couldn't have been consciously trying to protect the mayor. That also means she couldn't have possibly been Tenmataro. Interesting, but where are you going with this? Since you ask so politely, I believe you have a different reason for trying to keep Mr. Filch quiet. That reason would be to reflect doubt away from the one who really was Tenmataro. Now this is getting interesting. Are you insinuating that I'm Tenmataro? So sorry to disappoint, but I'm nothing of the sort. That's right, and Mr. LaBelle even told me Tenmataro was a jinx, so... Yow! I said that Tenmataro was jinxy, you fool! Honestly, you have the memory capacity of a flea. Practice it 100 more times. Yipes! So, have you been called to testify tomorrow? Yes, I'm so looking forward to my courtroom debut. But you'll just have to wait until then. Oh, I'll be waiting on a special piece of evidence I've been saving just for you. Filchy, wake up, you lazy bones! What? Was I sleeping? Must have been that sweet cologne of yours, Mr. LaBelle. Made me right sleepy, it did. Does it do that? That's the thing to know. Well, it's time for your lesson on what to do and say tomorrow. Oh, I'm begging you, not another lesson. I'm gonna cut out for this thinking and remembering stuff. Ah! Right up to Schnazola. Keep quiet and do exactly as I say. Oh, please! Anything but another lesson. Well, there they go. Missed our chance to get the truth out of them. Yeah, but we'll get the proof we need in court tomorrow, one way or another. All that's left now is that lie Jinxie told. We better go clear that up before tomorrow. You think they're done questioning Jinxie? Maybe. Let's see if she's over on Yokai Lane, shopping for more charms. April 8, April 18, Ninetails Vale, Yokai Lane. Oh. Cursed nine-tailed fox. The time for setting the score is nigh. My grudge has been festered over time. At last, vengeance will be mine. She must be possessed or sleepwalking again. Maybe if I speak softly, I won't startle her and get a charm plastered on my forehead. Psst, Jenks. Huh? Oh, hello, Mr. Demon Lawyer. My charms must have fallen off again. Oh, I guess I could afford to avoid a charm slap by toning down my cords of steel. Are they done questioning you, Jinxie? Uh-huh. And on the way back, I stopped here to buy a new charm that was just released. Yeah? Oh, which one? Oh, the one with the nine-tailed fox and Tenmataro. It shows them dancing together. Really? Two bitter rivals dancing together? Uh-huh. It's a charm for rebuilding burnt bridges. Oh, right. For the municipal merger issue. No, it's for the demon lawyer and the insomniac prosecutor. It'll stop you two from fighting like you did in court this morning. We weren't fighting, it was just a spirited debate. What we lawyers... No fighting. Charm slapped again. Paulo, if you're done playing around, let's find out what she was lying about. Okay. What you remember. Jinxie, it seems like you're starting to remember things. You already said the feathers and tracks weren't there when you discovered the crime. Oof. Have you remembered anything else that seems important? Like what? Tell us what you saw that day. Maybe you'll remember something else this time. When I opened the door, Papa and Alderman Cubie were collapsed in the fox chamber. That's when Papa told me to call an ambulance and the police, but they were collapsed. Was he collapsed or did he... That's all he said before he passed out in the chair. Okay. Yeah, see, this is a, I knew it. She's holding something back. Oh boy. Start perceiving things. What do you remember? That's all he said before he passed out in the chair. It stopped wiggling? No, it wiggled. Mike. It wiggled at that's all he said.
Gotcha!
You were very nervous when you said, that's all he said, weren't you? I know, because I saw your fingers move as if you were going to slap someone with a charm. And I always like telling people about their tell so they can use it more than once. Never. Huh? Now listen to me, Jinxie. This is very important. Did Mayor Tenma say anything else to you? It was nothing. He was just talking in his sleep. Did he say something useful like, caw, 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 caw? I mean, that would be useful. Talking in his sleep? So you admit that he did say something else? Yeah. How could you tell? Only a demon could have such powers. Okay, tell me what you really remember. Like I said, he was just talking in his sleep. I mean, why else would Papa say something like that? Could you be a little more specific? Before he fainted, he said, "Forgive me, Jinxie. I killed Alderman QB." He said what? The mayor actually confessed the crime? But he didn't mean it. He couldn't possibly have known what he was saying. He was probably possessed, or maybe he was in the middle of a nightmare. Nightmare? No, this is a nightmare. This is one statement I wish I'd never heard. But what in the world are we gonna do? How? Return to the basics? That's right. Always believe in your client, no matter what happens. That is a lawyer's greatest and most trusted weapon. Hydrate? Yeah, I can do that. Right, just believe in my client. Even if all I can see ahead is darkness and despair. All right, thank you, Irish Mail. Bark, bark, bark. Jinxie, does Prosecutor Blackwell know about your father's confession? I didn't mention it when he was questioning me. I mean, there's no way Papa's the killer. Why would the mayor confess like that? Could he really be in treatment or simply delirious? Who knows? But I sure feel like I'm living a nightmare right now. Paula, what are we going to do about tomorrow's trial? Crime scene was locked tight until Jinxie arrived, and our clients even confessed. Not only that, Jinxie's been accused of planting the yokai evidence. Both the mayor and Jinxie are going to prison if we don't do something. I know. Well, let's see here. Lack of a third party in the locked room is a major problem. Jinxie has testified that when she first opened the door, Alderman QB and Mayor Temna were the only people she saw in the Fox Chamber. But the real killer must have been hiding in there as well. Considering the room was locked tight, that's the only logical explanation. Our mystery person must then have fled the Fox Chamber when it was open. And that's when Jinxie saw what she thought was Ted Mataro. But Papa and the Alderman were the only people there. Then who was Ted Mataro? I didn't see anyone else. What's going on here? LaBelle's extremely pale, but he's far from transparent. So just how did he hide himself at the scene of the crime? Whatever it takes in court tomorrow, Apollo. We have to take down that dirty, rotten Ted Mataro, Florent LaBelle. Right. We'll get him with a legal exorcism, justice style. We're so doomed. To be continued now. Save your current progress? Sure. I guess. Save complete. Okay, so we're done. Continue. All right. Me. April 19, 9:30 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Court. Day 2. Court is now in session. All rise. Court is back in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice Defense Team Leader is ready, Your Honor. Athena Sykes, Assistant Defender, is ready too, Your Honor. Je suis prêt. As chipper as ever, I see, and in front no less. And the prosecution? Very well then. By the way, I asked Detective Fulbright to provide sturdier shackles today. There will be no more of your funny business this time, Prosecutor Blackwell. Now, your opening statement, if you would. I believe it's standard procedure for the prosecution to handle it. Looks like the judge is really bringing it today. He probably realized how Blackwell played him. That was one mean game, Simon says. Yeah, His Honor asked Fat to defend His Honor today. You baldness. It's plain to see that you've always dreamed of delivering an epic opening statement. I have? I don't know if I'd say that. Why, of course you have. I saw it in your eyes the last time you gave the opening statement. That was the look of one who yearns deeply for the thrill of an epic opening statement. For decades now, you've been watching opening statements from your bench. They were the crown jewels of the court, the one thing you could not possess. The crown jewels of the court. Now, at long last, they are within your grasp. How could you possibly refuse? So you don't mind if I do it then? I'll make a special exception just this once. Here we go again. Yeah, Var Blackwell's mind games. Well, in that case, I think I might go ahead and make the opening statement myself. In yesterday's session, we learned the shocking truth that the Amazing Nine-Tails, the victim Alderman Rex Cuby, was the Amazing Nine-Tails. We also learned that the Amazing Nine-Tails was a key figure in the yokai craze and anti-merger protests. It was further revealed that upon learning Rex Cuby's secret identity, Mayor Damien Tenma murdered him. The fact that the crime took place in a tightly locked room was also brought to light. And the only people in that tightly locked room were the defendant and victim. The defense proposed the existence of a hypothetical third party. But further investigation revealed no proof of a third party who escaped the room. Ergo, we must conclude that the evidence against the defendant is, well, conclusive. Hey, did I say something wrong? That was quite astonishing. You've truly outdone yourself this time. Oh, one more thing to boast about to my grandchild. Oh, well, this was not an unexpected turn of events. Now then, it seems the prosecution has called a new witness to testify. The inexplicable yokai evidence left at the scene of the crime. Well, does that not demand some sort of explanation? The feathers and tracks were those left by the mayor while he was possessed. That was but an act to protect his daughter. Oh. Yes, of course. I had suspected as much. Wait, did you actually believe the mayor's award-winning performance? His daughter was the one who planted the yokai evidence. Ergo, the true identity of the yokai in the manor was the manor's maid, Jinxie Tenma.
Objection!
The prosecution is engaging in mere conjecture. Would you care for some witness testimony, then? For I am ready to prove that the little scamp is the one behind the Tenmataro farce. Witness testimony? I'll bet he means Filch and that creep LaBelle. Very well, then. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness? Mr. Filch, you made quite the hasty exit yesterday. See that it doesn't happen again today. Been known for my hasty retreat since I was a kid. A bit of a trademark of mine. Indeed. You managed to give a total of 5 bailiffs the slip. Like those amateurs could ever nab me. Yipes! Perhaps we should shackle you by the neck. That would keep you in place. Yipes! No, please. I'm liable to rip my own head off if I start running. Your statement. Now. Yes, sir, Mr. Blackhead, sir. He may beat her hasty retreat, but there's no escaping Prosecutor Blackwell. Yeah, Blackwell doesn't strike me as the give-up-easy type. Now then, Mr. Filch, your testimony, please. Specifically, the true nature of the yokai you saw in the manor shortly after the crime. Witness testimony. The yokai is Jinxie. Tenmataro's really that little maid gal, ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Tenmataro I saw was just a little thing about her size. But the little runt had a big old staff I seated when she came into the foyer. Betcha she stole it from the Forbidden Chamber after stumbling on the crime scene. She was gonna use it to wallop me on account of my fierce reputation, I just know it. So, Tenmataro was short in stature. And that's because it was Miss Jinxie Tenma all along? You betcha! Besides, all the rest in the manor were way taller than her. Feigning height is but an easy thing. But a big ox like the defendant could never pass for short. What if the Tenmataro impersonator was walking on their knees? Oh, no knee walking, I've seen it myself. Then perhaps that yokai really was Miss Tenma after all. All monsters are not but tricks, either of the mind or the cheap parlor variety. So, you're saying she created an illusion like one of those magical eye things? Precisely. Human senses are easily deceived. Take the fellow in the cell next to me. Each night he cries and screams about some ghost he thinks he sees. But in truth, it was simply the janitor. Prosecutor Blackwell just gave up the ghost, literally. The janitor's deathly complexion and all-white attire are no doubt partially to blame. That and the fact that he constantly mutters about taking vengeance for this or that. That actually sounds like a real ghost to me. Okay, real ghosts are not doing janitor duty. Trust me on this. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Cross-examination. The yokai is Jinxie. Tenmataro's really that little maid gal, ain't no doubt about it.
Hold it!
Mr. Filch, you and Mr. LaBelle mentioned something about a practice yesterday? Do you deny this so-called lesson was about what you were supposed to say in court? No, you got it all wrong. Then you could tell the court exactly what sort of lesson it was. It was, what was it again? Now I remember. Math, numbers and stuff. He's completely under Blackwell's control, too. Anyway, that Tenmataro was a little maid gal, so what's the difference? How little is Jinxie? I don't get to see the person.
Hold it!
I take it you got a good look at how tall the Tenmataro impersonator was? You betcha. I got a habit of sizing people up. I can even give you a primer on how to pull it off. All under the table notch. I got a knack for figuring out where people's pockets are and how much money they have. I size them real good before I relieve them of their valuables. He just admitted to being a pickpocket right here in court. Does the witness hold that this Tenma Taro entered the foyer? Darn right I do. But the little runt had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the foyer.
Hold it!
Well, you're not gonna brush it off by claiming the perp was short. Must have hit a rotten nerve, because you ain't that tall yourself. Who's talking, mister? I've got to stand on a box just to testify. Is that like a peach crate? Anyway, Mr. Filch, correct me if I'm wrong. But didn't you say the Tenma Taro you saw had a staff? Caress my heart up to die, I know, because it had a jingle and a jangle. And where do you suppose that staff came from? The staff, you say? Ooh, well, bet you she stole it from the Forbidden Chamber after it stumbled on the crime scene.
Hold it!
I suppose you didn't mean to say that Jinxie Tenma entered the Forbidden Chamber to get one? Well, I ain't never seen a staff like that in the manor. So it had to be the Forbidden Chamber. Oh, really? Stench of lapel is thick in the air today. Jinxie entered the Forbidden Chamber after the incident. Then she took the staff and tried to cover up her actions by pretending to be Tenma Taro. I guess that's what Filch is trying to say. Could Jinxie have even entered the Forbidden Chamber if she wanted to? Who did have the key? Where did we get the key from? The mayor took it from the killer and swallowed it. It's the only one of its kind. So, no. That is a thing to be aware of. There was no getting into anywhere, probably. There is one thing I was wondering about. Why did that yokai have a staff in the first place? Oh, well, I've got my hunches about that. She was gonna use it to wallop me on account of my fiercer reputation. I just know it.
Hold it!
Wallop you? And why would the so-called yokai want to do that? That little maid gal never did like me. She always hightails it when I come around her. She sticks to these weird papers on my noggin. She probably thinks him as the dreaded Tanuki monster of QB Manor or something. We need to prove a Jinxie and Tenma Taro. But I have no idea how we're going to do that. All we have to do is prove that it's impossible for Jinxie to turn into Tenma Taro. That might be easier than you think. Really? Now's our chance. Our chance to expose the real Tenma Taro for all to see. Okay, so... because the staff did not come from the Forbidden Chamber. Because the key was not accessible. Correct?
Objection!
Yeah, okay. It would seem that Tenma Taro was, in fact, not this innocent little girl. Huh? How you figure that? You claim that Tenma Taro you saw had one of those staves from the Forbidden Chamber. But it would have been impossible for Miss Tenma to get a hold of one. Care to elaborate, Mr. Justice? The mayor swallowed this key shortly after the murder. He wanted to keep the killer out of the Forbidden Chamber. What's this? This key was deep in the mayor's stomach when Miss Tenma discovered the crime scene. So you see, it would have been impossible for her to get into the Forbidden Chamber. In short, the Tenma Taro scene holding that staff? Could not have been Jinxie Tenma. Ah! Ah! What? Because it's an orange crate. But then who does the defense believe was impersonating Tenma Taro? Our Tenma Taro impersonator is none other than Mayor Tenma's aide. Sorry, Mayor Tenma's aide. Wait, is LaBelle Mayor Tenma's aide? Is he not the... See, I don't even know where anybody is. Mayor Tenma's aide, okay. I thought he was working with, under the alderman. Like, that's why he would be here in the alderman's house. Hanging out with Filch, who also caretakes here. But okay, so he's just been an outsider the whole time. Okay. Such accusations beg evidence. Aside from his ghastly appearance, can you prove he is the yokai we seek? Yes, in fact, I can. Very well, let's see where the defense is going with this. Mr. Justice, please show us proof as to the true identity of the Tenma Taro impersonator. Okay, so we're looking at the, it was dropped in the Forbidden Chamber. Probably.
Take that!
We found this hand cream in the Forbidden Chamber. But we know that whoever was Tenma Taro took one of the staves out of there. In short, I believe whoever his hand cream belongs to is the yokai impersonator we're looking for. But Mr. Justice, how do you propose to identify the hand cream's owner? I'm glad you asked, Your Honor. The defense requests a fingerprint analysis on that piece of evidence. It might tell us who it belongs to. Interesting. So you expect to find the yokai's prints there. Very well. I hereby call a short recess while we wait for the fingerprint results. No need for that, Your Baldness. We have the prints of everyone at the manor that day. You called, Prosecutor Blackwell? Oh, Bobby. Could anyone be more whipped? Fulbright, analyze this for prints. You have 3 minutes. Your wish is my command. Very well then, I guess we'll just wait right here. It would seem the fingerprint analysis is complete. What do the results show? What in the world? They're Florent Rebel's plant, aren't they? This is absurd. Prosecutor Blackwell? I'm not gonna like this, am I? Don't tell me. They're Tenma Taro's prints? Fingerprint analysis has revealed that the prints belong to the Tanuki. Phineas Filch.
Objection!
Wait, what? What? Mr. LaBelle wasn't the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber?
Objection!
Why, you tricksy little Tanuki. Explain yourself, now. Sure, them prints are mine. I mean, I did pilfer that hand cream from Mr. LaBelle after all. So you're the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber? So what if I did? Got a problem with it? Yeah, you fool of a Tanuki. Order.
Oui.
Mr. Justice, care to explain what this could mean? Excellent question. The fact that Mr. Filch was in the Forbidden Chamber? Wait a second. Does this mean the Tenmataro holding that staff was Phineas Filch? Yes! Another cat out of the bag! Whoa! He confessings! He confessings! Him do! Mr. Filch is Tenmataro? I don't understand. Tanuki magic is incomprehensible. Does this mean, Mr. Filch is the real killer? The witness will explain himself this instant. Begging your pardon, your honorship, but I was just doing what the alderman told me. He wanted me to be Tenmataro in the village exorcism ritual. Oh, you mean that event at the Ninetails Vale Festival? So that was you inside the Tenmataro costume? Yep, and after the event, I went to watch that pro wrestling program. But it bored me to tears on account of the wrestlers being complete jobbers. So he didn't actually watch the entire wrestling match. Well, that's when I looked at the Tenmataro costume and got a great idea. Nobody can tell it's me while I'm wearing it. And because of them superstitions, no matter what I do, the villagers won't say a word. In other words, you use the superstitions to effectively render yourself invisible. Why did you want to enter the Forbidden Chamber in the first place? Because of the
Send a
treasure
note
there.
to Capcom about that spelling.
Yeah, I'll be sure to file a bug report. Because of the treasure there. I thought that was my big chance to sneak on in and nab it. Treasure? Only that is the greatest get rich quick. Only that is the greatest get rich quick chance in the universe. Grandpappy told me all about it, so there's an amazing treasure in there. He went in there not knowing his grandfather had already pilfered it? Guess that's one tale that didn't get passed down from grandpappy to grandson. Wait, how exactly did you get into the Forbidden Chamber? There was a meeting in the Fox Chamber that day. Plus, the mayor swallowed the only key that could open the Forbidden Chamber's door. You couldn't have possibly gotten in, except through the obvious visible ventilation vent that we saw earlier. I could through the air vent in the foyer. The vents left of the alderman's picture. I went on in and made a nice little hole. Use that to get into the air duct that leads to the Forbidden Chamber, I did. You what? But how's that even possible? Wait a sec. Remember that air vent in the Forbidden Chamber? Yeah. So, Mr. Filch found a way to get into that air duct? Yeah. And that's how I got in from the foyer vent to the Forbidden Chamber vent? Yeah. So, Tenmataro was nothing more than a cat burglar. Or rather, a Tanuki burglar. Because we're not going to sit around for Neko burglars. And we're going back to being without anyone to charge for the alderman's murder. Why? Charge him! Well, looks like our so-called yokai's nothing more than one big troublemaker. Tell me, Mr. Filch, what did you do after fleeing to the foyer? I got out of that costume right quick. Would have just caused trouble at that point. And where's that costume now? Heck if I know, and it ain't my fault if you never find it. The police searched every nook and cranny. No yokai costume was left in that manor. What if it was tossed outside the manor? Here's where we get that, okay. No way. But maybe, just maybe. The defense seems to have hit upon an idea. Well, go on, Mr. Justice. Okay, here's what I think. Mr. Filch, did you get rid of the costume here? Okay, so hold on, before I do anything else. This flight of fancy was around 3:40 p.m. What is that in relation to the schedule? You took my schedule away. Why would you take my schedule away? It's useless evidence. Time of murder was around 3:20. So this was 20 minutes afterwards. Oh, good heck. Mr. Filch, did you get rid of the costume here?
Take that!
Did you toss it out the window? Because that would certainly explain why it didn't turn up inside the manor. You think I tossed it out the window? That costume cost me a pretty penny. So why would I go and do something like that? I can think of a few reasons. Any bright ideas, Apollo? Well, assuming the costume really was tossed out from the window. And the next question would be, what happened to it after that? And if I'm right, I might have just the thing to prove what happened to the costume. Phineas Filch, I have just the evidence for you. You do? This evidence proves you got rid of your Turnabout costume through the window.
Take that!
That's, Turnabout flying through the sky. And just how does that prove Mr. Filch threw his costume out the window? Well, it's quite simple. That's not Turnabout in the photo, it's the costume Mr. Filch threw out. That's crazy talk. You ain't serious, are you? There's a steep cliff right outside the foyer window, meaning the manor's pretty high up. The costume flew through the air after it was tossed out. That's when the photo was taken. In other words, the photo of Turnabout really was a flight of fancy. What? Yes. Oh my, so there really never was a yokai? I can't keep any of them cats bagged. Can I still file a claim for the lost costume? This more than proves the defense's position. Jinxie Tenma had nothing to do with staging the yokai sighting. Care to raise any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? None whatsoever. I'll deal with that Trixie Tanuki after I've dealt with this case. We did it. No? Good going. Now we have to do is make Florent LaBelle take a stand.
Objection!
Sheathing the sword a bit early, are we not? Huh? Nothing has been proven beyond a doubt. Take this tricksy little Tanuki, for instance. How do you suppose he was able to exit the Forbidden Chamber? Probably the same way he got in? Through the chamber's air vent? And what of the feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime? They would suggest that Tanuki exited through the chamber door, not the air vent.
Objection!
But the Forbidden Chamber doesn't open from the inside. So what you're saying makes no sense. Right? Oh! Or did he go out the Fox Chamber
They
window?
would be on the floor from the attempt to crawl with costume.
I mean, what if they went out the Fox Chamber window, which is also on the cliff side of the house, and he just jumped while in the suit? That would be something. On the floor from the attempt to crawl with costume. Oh. This is all very shenanigans. Someone on the outside opened the door for you, isn't that right? Hey, yeah, that's right, Mr. Blackjack. The door suddenly sprung right open.
Hold it!
Sprung right open? Who was on the other side? Didn't get a good look on account of the sudden glare. Like how the reflection from my head blinds fellow moviegoers and emerging from the dark. That's when I snatched that staff and made my daring escape. And then that little maid gal spotted me as I hightailed it down the hall. Well, that means the Forbidden Chamber wouldn't open until after crime was discovered. Wait. Oh, the Forbidden Chamber, right. I keep getting the Forbidden Chamber mixed up with the Fox Chamber. The murder was in the Fox Chamber. Wait. We still don't know who opened it. Maybe there really was a third person in the Fox Chamber?
Objection!
Well, you little Tanuki. Find someone who calls you little Tanuki like that. When the Forbidden Chamber opened, did you see the accused passed out there? Nope, only one there was the alderman, and he was dead as a doornail. If the accused wasn't there, what do you suppose he was up to? Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. Objection is calling for speculation. Ah, don't tell me. Finally, the only one who could have opened the Forbidden Chamber was the accused Damien Tenma, who did have the key and had not swallowed it yet. Ah! Wait a sec. There had to be somebody else beside Mayor Tenma there. Really? And who might that be? Oh, well, that would be,
Objection!
It seems our feisty little ass has forgotten the most important thing. Evidence. I didn't forget. I was just testing your attention to details. Ms. Sykes, you can't prove your point without proof of some sort. It's a proven fact. Sorry. Guess I put my foot in my mouth again. No, Athena. We're definitely onto something here.
Man, I made pasta, but my hunger has vanished from pains.
No! You'll have to offer it to the ants. And then they'll grow enormous. We are? Think about it. If Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber,
Enormous.
one of the alibis we heard would no longer hold any water. Wait. Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber. Oh. Because we said we saw... Well... That is a whole shenanigan, isn't it? Defense would like to call a new witness to the stand. Someone who knew Mr. Filch was stuck in the Forbidden Chamber. And by virtue of knowing this, has an alibi that no longer adds up. Not that insufferable... Very well. The court will hear what Mr. Justice has to say. Whose alibi no longer adds up? Okay, so this is the bark. So, I think they want me to say LaBelle, but I don't think it's LaBelle, because LaBelle hasn't given us an alibi. I don't think we have any record of where LaBelle was at the time of this. Except maybe him well, I think we had determined that he was watching TV. See, caretaker of Cuba Manor. He was busy sneaking into the Forbidden Chamber at the time of the murder. Right. Oh, so see, they're adding it up for me. It's already in here. Mayor Tenma's aide. He was supposedly in the foyer with Filch at the time of the murder. And therefore, since Filch was not there, where was he actually?
Take that!
Why, that's the defendant's aide, Florent LaBelle. Didn't he claim to be in the foyer at the time of the crime? True, but in his alibi, he also claimed Mr. Filch was in the foyer, too. However, as we all know now, Mr. Filch was not there with Mr. LaBelle at that time. In short, Mr. LaBelle's alibi has disappeared. Ugh. Florent LaBelle's alibi was one big lie. Isn't that right, Mr. Filch? I reckon there ain't no keeping that cat in the bag here, neither. It was all Mr. LaBelle's idea. He told me he'd bumped his lip about me breaking into the Forbidden Chamber. And in return, he said we'd vouch for each other's alibi. Shame on you, Mr. Filch. Perjury is a serious crime, you know. Oh, shucks. Mercy, Your Honorship, mercy. I also asserted that the person who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch was none other than Florent LaBelle. After all, his alibi has just been proven to be a complete fabrication. I see. We will take a 20-minute recess, after which time we will see what Mr. LaBelle has to say for himself. Yes. We're finally going to drag that slippery snake out of the stand. In the meantime, the prosecution will question Mr. LaBelle about these new allegations. April 19, 10:25 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. We did it, Apollo. We finally dragged Mr. LaBelle into court. Yeah. Hey, what a long face. I can't help but feel I'm missing something important. Plus, Prosecutor Blackwell's bound to mount a counterattack. You really are Ward, aren't you? You'll be fine. That Mr. Figure opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch? Had to have been Florent LaBelle. Oh yeah, just jinx it for me that way. I know, but that's not what's bugging me. I wish I could put my finger on it, though. At any rate, the big showdown with Mr. LaBelle's up next, so chin up, Apollo. Big showdowns. Oh no. Hope you're doing well out there tonight. April 19, 11 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 4. Court is back in session. Our next witness is... Yes, I'm acting on behalf of the mayor in this very important matter. It seems the witness is predisposed at the moment. Surely you jest. I will hold you to your promise. Remember that. Oh, my deepest apologies. This is Florent LaBelle, personal aide to Mayor Tenma, or should I say, the accused. Ouch. Like the poor mayor hasn't suffered enough. Well, what business do you have with me? I'm a very busy man, so let's make this as brief as possible. Your baldness. Mr. Filch's testimony has revealed a hole in your alibi. And for this reason, you were suspected of having some sort of connection with the case at hand. To think I'd be associated with this entirely lurid affair. Well, I'm not. So may I go now? I have very important matters to attend to.
Objection!
I don't think so, Mr. LaBelle. Do you realize what a serious crime you've committed? Witness, you're being accused of perjury. This is your chance to clear the air. Fine. The truth is, I faked my alibi for a very good reason. The mayor was obviously the killer, so I created a fake alibi to confuse the matter. You see, as his personal aide, I felt I had to protect him. Sorry. You think this is funny? Without your alibi, you're a suspect too. What were you really doing at the time of the crime? Peasant! How dare you accuse me, one of the beautiful people? Stop stalling. Tell the court what you were really doing at the time of the crime.
Silence!
Hmm. 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 Enough jabbering. Swords have been drawn. The time for talk is past. Swords? What swords? This is a duel to the death. The fate of the accused rests in our hands. Begone, ye of cowardly heart. The battlefield hath no place for ye. Again? Oh my. Spare me, please. So much for sturdier shackles. Yeah. Those chains hindered my vow that heads would roll this day. This gives keeping your head on in court a whole new meaning. Will the witness please deliver the accused's death knell? You know of what I speak. Most certainly. His goose is already cooked. Time to stick a fork in him. Whatever he has to say can't be good. As I told Prosecutor Blackwell during the recess, I rushed right over to the Fox chamber when I heard little Jinxie scream. What? Then, drum roll please, I saw Mayor Tenma opening the forbidden chamber doors. But there you have it. The mystery man who opened the chamber door, as witnessed by one Phineas Filch. It was the accused. There was never any third party. Oh, and that's not all. I heard something quite startling there at the scene of the crime. Startling sounds bad. The mayor, who was barely conscious, muttered this. Forgive me, Jinxie. I killed the alderman. That's right. The mayor actually confessed to the murder right then and there. He confessed. Order. Order in the court. This is quite conclusive testimony if it stands. Just so, quite astonishing, I might add, I only learned of this fact during the recess. I just love surprises, don't you? That's why I saved the best for last. Consider it a gift from me to you. No, what? I don't believe Mr. LaBelle heard the mayor confess. But is this really true? Did Mayor Tenma really confess? It is indeed. During that last recess, I confirmed it with the mayor's daughter. It would seem Mayor Tenma actually did confess. That testimony is quite favorable to the prosecution's... This is LaBelle. Yes, I called earlier about the party reservations. That's right, and I'll be calling my little shindig Mayor Tenma's Conviction Gala. A splendid time is guaranteed for all but the mayor and his defense. Well, as it seems our witness is a very busy man, let's get right to his testimony. Mr. LaBelle, please tell us what you saw when you came upon the scene of the crime. Witness testimony. What LaBelle saw. I was in the hallway, hiding in the shadows. That's when I heard the confession. Upon learning of her father's crime, little Jinxie fled without ever noticing me. That didn't happen. She went and called the cops. She went to the phone in the other direction. Immediately after that, the mayor came to, stood up and opened the forbidden chamber. That also has order of operations problems. As I ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison. In shock, I fled down the hallway to my right, to the one with the phone at the end. F. I must say, this is a shocking revelation. Quite unexpected. To think the defendant actually confessed then and there to his crime. Perhaps the guilt was too much to bear, so he confided in his daughter. You do realize you should not have withheld such crucial testimony from the court. Once again, sorry. It's just, I feared being accused if I mentioned coming upon that most unpleasant scene. Why did the mayor's confession have to be brought up by this guy? We better do something before the judge declares the mayor guilty. As a death row inmate once told me in years gone by, there's a time to fight, and a time to yield, a time to live, and a time to die. He's laying it on real thick now. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Alright. Cross-examination. What LaBelle saw. I was in the hallway, hiding in the shadows. That's when I heard the confession.
Hold it!
Hiding? You claimed the mayor confessed to his daughter? Are you sure about that? You wouldn't dare ask such a question if you truly understood. True beauty is never wrong. It's not? No, beauty is carved deep in the DNA. Of course, he's talking racism here, isn't he? Well, that means I'm programmed to always be right, even when I'm wrong. Yeah. I'm not following. These exquisite ears like flowers abloom. These eyes like shine like pearls. This hair like the finest silk. Nothing can corrupt the truth they hold. Right. The witness will hurry up and explain this truth of his. Specifically, what did Jinxie Tenma do upon hearing the confession? Upon learning of her father's crime, little Jinxie fled without ever noticing me.
Hold it!
How did Miss Tenma appear to you? Oh, the poor little thing seemed positively heartbroken, all teary-eyed and whatnot. I couldn't help but shed a few tears myself after seeing her like that. He actually sympathized with Jinxie. Seems like an overly human emotion for him. Yeah, because he's the only real monster we've seen so far, in looks and in character. The next thing I did was check my face in the mirror. Check your face? Why? Because he'd just been laying out the tears. Yes, make sure it continues looking presentable. But what mirror? To behold the beauty that is my sadness. Why else? Oh, I'm starting to lose all faith in humanity. I know the feeling, but hang in there. At least keep faith in our client. Let's keep this moving, shall we? So, what happened next? Immediately after that, the mayor came to, stood up, and opened the forbidden chamber.
Hold it!
He opened the forbidden chamber. But why would he do that? Who knows? Maybe he wanted to free the demon, Tenma Taro?
Objection!
The courtroom is no place for fairy tales. Remember, you are under oath. Hello? LaBelle speaking? Yes, I will certainly explore the matter. Toodles. Now, where were we again? You were gonna tell us the real reason why the mayor opened the Forbidden Chamber. Oh yes, of course. Hello, this is LaBelle. Good one, sir. You're an absolute riot. Okay, bye. You were saying? Never mind. This is a waste of time. He's just gonna tell more lies. The witness will focus on his testimony, not his phone calls. Now, tell the court what you did after you saw the mayor open the Forbidden Chamber. Well, after that, as I ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison.
Hold it!
What was Mr. Filch like at the time? He was shouting, I can't see, I can't see, it's the curse of Tenmataro. Then he took off running like a madman. He must have been blinded by the sudden light flooding in. Wrong. He set eyes upon me, and was thus blinded by my radiant beauty. So it was the curse of Flora LaBelle around Tenmataro? Yes, I'm afraid such beauty can be a curse. It's almost criminal. The only thing criminal here is your ceaseless jabbering. Now get on with your testimony. Oh, forgive me your darkness. Let's see. Oh, also, don't. Oh yes, I fled for dear life from Tenmataro and... In shock, I fled down the hallway to my right, to the one with the phone at the end.
Hold it!
So, after you fled in the hallway with the phone at the end, Tenmataro went off toward the foyer? Precisely. Notice any inconsistencies, Apollo? Yeah, I do. Jinxie's eyewitness account. See, after leaving the scene and calling the police, they passed each other to bed in the hall as he made for the foyer. He was carrying a staff-like implement that jangled. She couldn't call for help because there was no one else in the hall. Yeah. Just a little bit. Well, Jinxie also saw Tenmataro, right? She did? She said they passed each other in the hall after she made that call to the police. Well, if LaBelle had fled down the hall where that phone is, Jinxie would have seen it when she was returning from making her call. Oh, right. And if she saw him, she would definitely ask him for help. Right. It just doesn't make any sense. Time to review the evidence. We just did. If we don't find some way to poke a hole in his testimony, Mayor Tenma's as good as guilty. This is bad. Very bad. We need to find an inconsistency, a mistake, some kind of conflict. It's all over if we can't find a flaw in the prosecution's case. Luckily, we have one. Okay, so we'll go ahead to where we were. Fled without ever noticing. Okay, so I don't know if I presented here or at another place, but I'm going to present it here because this is where they brought it up. And hopefully that'll be all right.
Objection!
Okay, good. Florian LaBelle, you're lying about having witnessed these events from the hallway. What on earth do you mean? Yes. Care to fill the rest of us in, Mr. Justice? Let me hydrate for a moment here. Clank. If Mr. LaBelle had really fled down to the hall with the phone in it, he would have crossed paths with Miss Tenma. What's this? After she discovered the crime scene, she immediately went to call the police. Then, after making her call, she went back to the main hallway, whereupon she encountered a demon, yokai, or whatever you want to call it. As for me, I call it Phineas Filch in a Tenmataro costume. The encounter happened right here, where they always meet. As for Mr. LaBelle, if he had fled here, feigning escape from the yokai imposter? Why, yes, the two would have crossed paths. Right, except Ms. Tenma told us there was no one else in the hall. In short, Ms. Tenma did not see you in the hall because you were never really there. Ah! My eyes! My beautiful eyes! Not such a fabulous scent now, is it? But, Mr. Justice, the witness also stated that he heard the mayor confess. If he was lying about hearing the confession from the hall, then where was he when he heard it? Inside the Fox Chamber, where else? But isn't that within the very crime scene? It is, Your Honor. And that means he's not really a witness. Rather, he's the third party I've been alleging this whole time. What? You think I'm the killer? How dare you?
Silence!
Foolish fop. A true man knows when he is beaten. The shield of lies comes to naught before a foe with the sword of truth bared. Prosecutor Blackwell? What? I thought we were on the same side. You are mistaken. There are no sides here, save my cold, steely edge of judgment. You are alone upon this battlefield, with naught but your lies and sickly sweet perfume. Oh, what just happened? Blackwell's really tearing into him. You heard the mayor's confession from the inside, did you not, you deviant dandy? For the sole location from which you could have seen and heard the mayor and the Tanuki, without either of them noticing you were right there in the Fox Chamber. Oh my! So that's how it's gonna be? Fine, I'll come clean then. Seriously? You admit to being there in the Fox Chamber? I do. I did enter the room after the murder. But I was afraid of being falsely accused, so I lied about it. I feel terrible about lying like that, but it's a verbal cologne I use to protect myself. You better explain yourself, Mr. LaBelle. Yes, of course. I was just about to get to that. The witness is skating on thin ice. I'll remind you that perjury is a very serious crime. Now, let's hear your testimony again, this time without your perfume of lies. In the Fox Chamber. I did enter the Fox Chamber after the murder, but I didn't enter until after Jinxie had heard the confession and left. I heard the mayor groan and hid behind the folding screen there. I told you people were hiding behind the folding screen. What I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying. So you see, I was there, but merely watching from behind the screen. From behind the screen? Why, yes, I believe you wouldn't be spotted if you were there. Just so he could see everything without being spotted by the victim or that Tanuki, Filch. Suffice to say, he was a mere witness to the events rather than an actual third party. This guy's as slippery as an eel. Apollo, you think he's telling the truth? Well, he was in the Fox Chamber, so at least that much must be true. The defense may cross-examine our slightly voyeuristic witness. Cross-examination in the Fox Chamber. I did enter the Fox Chamber after the murder.
Hold it!
Why in the world would you enter that grisly crime scene? Why? Because I was worried sick. Mayor Tenma's suit, what? It was designed personally by me. I was worried my work of art might get blood on it. This man clearly has his priorities in order. Okay, let's get this over with, shall we? Now, where was I? Oh, yes. So I entered the Fox Chamber almost without thinking. But I didn't enter until after Jinxie had heard the confession and left.
Hold it!
Why didn't you enter right away? And ruin my designer shoes? Your shoes? Even now, just thinking about getting blood on my fabulous footwear. It sends chills down my spine. That's why I hesitated.
Objection!
Well, that's terrible. A man was dying and another injured, and you're worried about your shoes?
Silence!
Need I remind you, this is a court of law. We are not teaching morality here. We have schools of etiquette and the like for such trivial pursuits. Now, you listen to me, you deceptive dandy. Get to the point, and be quick about it. Yes, well, I was there in the Fox Chamber, but I heard the mayor groan and hid behind the folded screen there.
Hold it!
Wait a second. Why did you hide yourself? Oh my, so you do understand. I do? By hiding, I was concealing my fabulous beauty, which, for the sake of the universe, is something I should never ever do. That's what you were thinking, right? I'm sensing a black hole of egocentricity forming around the witness stand. We can deliberate his mental process another time. Get on with the testimony. Now. Well, regarding the murder scene. What I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying.
Hold it!
Could you describe this crime scene in a bit more detail? And what exactly would you like details about? Well, what I'd like to ask you about is, feathers and tracks which shouldn't exist? Because Filch is still in the chamber? What do you remember about the yokai feathers and tracks? They resulted when Tenma Taro exited the Forbidden Chamber. He came out in quite a rush, scattering feathers this way and that. Is this contra our evidence? No. Feathers are on top of everything. Handprints are through blood that exists. Well, yes. Did you immediately know it was Mr. Filch? I did, and that's why I suggested we cook up our alibis together. And how did those practice sessions go? They were nearly the death of me. Filchy has to be the worst student ever. He really doesn't think he's done anything wrong, does he? Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider a statement to be of any importance? Is it important? I don't think that's the correct thing. I'm gonna say no, and then I'll ask again for a different. That's probably not particularly important. No, Your Honor. The witness may proceed. All right, then. I would just like to add that it was a terribly grisly scene, as I have described. So you see, I was there, but merely watching from behind the screen.
Hold it!
The mayor had been knocked out by a blow to the head. Could he really have opened the Forbidden Chamber in that state? Well, it did seem difficult. He was all woozy and stumbling around as he opened it. It was such a heroic effort that I nearly started cheering him on, despite myself. I think the mayor needed medical attention more than a cheerleader. You think he's telling the truth about being there in that room? Well, I believe he was there. The question is, when did he enter? You mean, did he enter after Jinxie fled? Or was he there before the murder? If it's the latter, that would change everything. Right. If he was there before the murder, that would make him a suspect. But how we go about proving that? Well, I guess we ask about what happened then. Anyway, let's press him and see what kind of info we can extract from him. Let's cross our fingers. He says to reveal something incriminating. Okay, so let's go over here where the options are to press a boot.
Hold it!
Okay. So zoom, okay. So let's ask about the murder weapon. And hydrate momentarily. Oof. Blank. Could you describe the state of the weapons that have been used at the scene? The spear had been thrust all the way through Alderman Kyubi. Then there was that statue the Alderman used to bludgeon Mayor Tenma. That incredibly inspiring symbol had fallen to the floor. Alright, the statue. But why would he find it inspiring? Because he knew what it was. Because he had seen it whole. Because he was there before the murder. Shabam, shabam, shaboom. There we go. Why exactly did you find the statue inspiring? Well, when I saw that statue, I felt as if the merger had been realized. I was like, a celebration of union between town and village. An inspiring symbol of goodwill. A broken statue next to a bloody corpse. Real inspiring. Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider his statement to be of any importance? Yeah, very important. I believe that to be extremely important. I request to be added to testimony. Okay. A statue had fallen to the floor. It was a token of goodwill celebrating the municipal merger. Okay, so how do I want to press that, or do I want to... Jinxie was the only one who knows what the original looks like. Statue traces of blood from the pendant. It was wrapped in a large cloth on which the defendant's blood was lifted. Oh. So it was wrapped in cloth before it was shenanigans. No one could see it. Interesting. And we said it was made by the alderman, so that, you know, the mayor's aide wouldn't necessarily know about it. I guess. I'm gonna press it first. Then we'll see what,
Hold it!
Token of goodwill. Are you referring to the Fox and Demon statue? Yes, the statue the alderman allegedly used to strike back at Mayor Tenma. The mayor trampled down municipal goodwill, only to be clobbered by its symbol. It's quite ironic, don't you think? And that's when that symbol of goodwill was transformed into a symbol of conflict. Okay. You didn't have any way of knowing that. Hopefully just presenting this is proof enough of that.
Objection!
Okay. Your lies have finally betrayed you, Mr. LaBelle. What possibly could you mean? You said this statue was like a celebration of union between town and village. Isn't that correct? It is indeed, but what of it? The two yokai are joining hands in goodwill, as if they were celebrating the municipal merger. Something the matter? So, how'd you really know that this statue is meant to be a symbol of goodwill again? What? Justice, Dono. Explain yourself, and make it quick. The statue was meant to symbolize goodwill in its original form, but that was a secret. A secret? Whatever do you mean? What I mean is it broke when someone used it to strike Mayor Tenma on the head. What's left clearly makes it look like the two yokai are battling it out. Hey! The statue's secret and its true form were lost inside that locked room. For Ms. Tenma is the only living soul who should know what it once looked like. So, Mr. LaBelle, where could you have possibly seen the statue in its original form? What do you mean, where? The only possible answer is this. You saw the statue in its original form right there in the room where the alderman was murdered, before it was broken. How dare you? Mr. Justice, are you accusing the witness with some sort of crime? Yes. Yes, I am. Florin LaBelle, I accuse you of the murder of Alderman Rex Cuby. Order. Order. Mr. LaBelle, you've been accused of murder. Do you have anything to say in your defense? Hydrate, yes, that would be great, wouldn't it? Okay. To actually hydrate, I actually will have to leave the room for a moment because I'm out of portable beverages. Give me one moment and I will return shortly. Yeah. It's a moisturize me moment. Could be, could be. Heck. Anyway, thank you for hydrate. Oh boy. How could you possibly accuse me, the embodiment of beauty? Way to go, Paulo. It's the complete conclusive evidence we needed. Magnifico. She wouldn't have said Magnifico. She would have said Magnifico. We got you now. We know you killed the alderman. Now, admit it.
Silence!
Enough of your silly games, Justice Donor. This prancing peacock could not possibly be the killer.
Objection!
What are you talking about? His alibi is already crumbled to dust. And I just proved that he was in the Fox Chamber while it was still locked tight.
Silence!
Why could he have not seen the statue in its true form before the murder? After all, he was close friends with the Alderman. Ergo. Yes, that's right. I clearly remember it now. Alderman QB told me about it. About what the statue actually looked like. But it was wrapped in the thing before it got hit too. I mean, he was a good friend of mine.
Objection!
Yeah, right. He wouldn't show you a secret gift just like that.
Silence!
Moreover, it has already been proven that he was not present at the scene of the crime. He has? Forgotten, have we? Recall the little scamp statement, if you will. When Jinxie Tenma unlocked the Fox Chamber, she saw the Alderman and the Mayor collapse therein, and no one else. Oh, dang it. But he's explicitly hiding. The fact is, it was you two who made that apparent in yesterday's court session. Thus, Florent Labelle could not possibly have been in that locked room. I just don't get it. How could Jinxie not have seen Labelle? Because he was explicitly hiding. The proof is incontrovertible. No room for debate exists. Am I not right, Your Boldness? It does seem awfully conclusive. The facts point to the defendant and victim being the only people in that locked room. Moreover, the defendant has already confessed.
Objection! Silence!
You cannot defend the indefensible. Your role in this charade is over, Justice Donor. But... Your Boldness. This trial would last an eternity if we were to keep crossing blades with these simpletons. It is high time we brought down the hammer of justice. A point well made. I believe it's time to declare a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Damien Tenma. Come on. It would seem that my time is at hand. Mayor Tenma? Counselor, there is a matter to which I must testify. I recall it now only for your good graces. Counselor? Oh, right, he must mean me. Has he finally remembered what happened before that blow to his head? Bailiff, don't just stand there. Seize him. Well, he's no good. I can't restrain him. Know me and despair. Brian Temataro, Demon Lord of the Yokai. Mr. Justice, do something. Since when am I responsible for court security? Paulo, this is our chance. We might get some new information out of him. Your Honor, seeing as our client has something new to say, I believe due process demands that we hear him out, even if he is a yokai. When you put it that way. Still, I believe testimony by a yokai is unprecedented in the legal world. Unprecedented and absurdity, more like. All right then, Mr. Damien Tenma. Or should I say Mr. Tenma Taro? Your testimony, please. I shall now speak of recollections most real, courtesy of my host, Damien Tenma. Heed these words, mortals, for hear them but once you shall. Caw, 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 caw. The ruler of demonkind. Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly, two yokai did appear. On one side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demonkind. And on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox. Uh, hmm. So, is the defendant asserting that the room he was in was very dark at the time? Strange as it may be, yes, indeed, all was in darkness. And the part about Tenma Taro and the nine-tailed fox being there? Yes, that too.
We should let the mayor go to a hospital. He has severe brain damage.
Well, I think he's saying he was in the Forbidden Chamber. I don't know. Tenma Taro towered overhead, and the nine-tailed fox glittered gold. I call animal abuse, Your Honor. It would seem the defendant's recollections are not to be trusted. Yes, well, truth be told, my host's recollections are still a bit fuzzy. As if half dreamt, that happening lingers in his mind. Paulo, maybe I can help you. Really? Oh, you mean... Yeah, I can hear it. The discord in his heart. I sense an unusual emotion in the mayor's memory of the event. Okay. I just hope our findings don't come back to haunt us again. Alright. Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly, two yokai did appear. On one side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demonkind. Why are you sad about that? And on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox. Incongruous joy. Is it because he's the hero of the story?
Got it!
When the nine-tailed fox appeared, you not only experienced shock and sadness, but also something like joy as well? Joy? Huh. Perhaps it was joy at the light coming to my eyes at long last. A long and terrible creaking did pierce the silence. And then there was light. On reflection, it was a door that did produce that infernal racket. creaking door? Oh, you must be talking about the Forbidden Chamber door. It does make a lot of noise. So, this means the Forbidden Chamber really was open. What about the sudden light he described? I think I know. He mentioned darkness and Tematara towering overhead. Maybe the mayor wasn't really in the Fox Chamber at the time of the crime. Mr. Mayor, did the darkness that you were in happen to be here?
Take that!
The Forbidden Chamber? Was it not the Fox Chamber where the murder did occur? Yes, but it all makes sense if you were in the Forbidden Chamber. That terrible creaking sound is probably the Forbidden Chamber's door opening. And the towering tower you saw? Most likely the Forbidden Chamber's statue. Why, yes, that would explain it. The darkness and the staff in the demon's grasp. But even if all that's true, what about the nine-tailed fox? Maybe he was seeing things just like Jinxie and her imaginary yokai? Fantastico, Apollo. It's entirely possible. Or, you know, he saw the alderman. In a groggy, dreamlike state, people can misremember things and events. Misremember, you say? Huh. Let me think. I do believe I remember now. That was not the nine-tailed fox. It was the amazing Ninetales. What? The amazing Ninetales? At first, this is but a dream, I thought. Now, however, most clearly do I recall it. 'Twas the amazing Ninetales who did open the Forbidden Chamber's door. Oh no! Did he open the Forbidden Door dressed up as the guy, and then the actual demon came out and killed him because of it? That would be no. I'm sorry I asked. The amazing Ninetales? But there's the victim, Alderman QB, right? Yeah, why would he open the Forbidden Chamber? Wasn't he trying to keep it sealed? Never mind that. This is completely new information. Let me enter it and run an update. Beepity beep beep. Barely conscious was Damien there in the Forbidden Chamber. Info update. Amid the darkness, a mighty statue of Tenmataro loomed overhead. Suddenly, the door did open and a shaft of light did pierce the gloom. The amazing Ninetales had come to the rescue. The rescue? The rescue? What do you suppose the amazing Ninetales was up to? Good question. Could he have been trying to free the mayor from the Forbidden Chamber? But why help an enemy like that? Wouldn't he oppose the mayor's merger plan? Huh. Well, at least we know why the room suddenly lit up. Must have been a huge relief for the mayor. I mean, just thinking about being trapped in that pitch black room freaks me out. Alright, so barely conscious was Damien there in the Forbidden Chamber. Okay, so what is the door did open, and you're not unhappy about that, that's sure. So why are you happy about this? Or why are you sad about it? Why are you happy about it? Well, You say have come to the rescue. So why are you sad about it?
Got it!
I don't know. When the amazing Ninetales opened the chamber, banishing the darkness within, you felt joy, but didn't you also feel shock and sadness? Yes, in the hazy depths of my mind, I do recollect something of that nature. I believe it was the fiend's cape of red. For when I did behold it, a great wave of sadness did inexplicably wash over me. Cape of red? Apollo, we've reduced the noise level. Oh, but there's still a little left. Mayor Tenma, why were you sad when you saw the red cape? Why indeed? What does it mean? What could it mean? I guess his memory's still a little spotty. I know, because his latest recollection contradicts the evidence. Yeah, it's one of those contradictions that slaps you right across the face. Something this obvious could arise when someone's trying to force a fuzzy memory into a definitive shape. Apollo, I know what you have to do. You need to present evidence that contradicts the image you see. Oh, so it's basically the same as the usual cross-examination process? Just to confirm, yeah, he's not a caped guy. Okay, time to review the evidence. Look at contradiction. Here comes justice. Very conscious was Damien there in the Forbidden Chamber. Amid the darkness, a mighty statue of Tenma Taro loomed overhead. Suddenly, the door did open, and a shaft of light did pierce the gloom. Yeah, I'm not good. Yeah, okay, we don't press these, we just present them. The amazing Ninetales had come to the rescue. Okay, so... he doesn't use a cape.
Objection!
Not all heroes do. You said the amazing Ninetales cape was red. Are you sure about that? Yes, well, I do believe it was a red cape I saw, but... Mayor Tenma, does this cape look red to you? Oh, that certainly does not look red. Not even scarlet or crimson either. Nevertheless, upon my liberation, something red did fill my as-yet hazy field of view. And I thought to myself, the amazing Ninetales is arrayed in a cape of red. In serio? Is it blood? Stabbed with a spear. Was it hair color? I don't know. So you mistook that red something for his cape, huh? Apparently so. And remembering it now brings a great sadness upon me. So the red sun probably wasn't a cape after all. Maybe that great sadness he mentions was interfering with his memory. Well, he wouldn't have seen the fox chamber behind the amazing Ninetales. Or he would have. What red object could he have seen there that would have been that shocking? Huh. I know. Could it have been... Mr. Mayor, was the red thing you saw this? I mean, no. I don't know what I have that would hold it. The large cloth. The large cloth around the statue, possibly, with the blood on it, but then it would already have the blood on it. Then I don't... This is the closest thing I got. It doesn't seem right, but I don't like it.
Take that!
No. Foolish mortal! Do you mock me? Oh, sorry. I'm afraid I have no recollection of seeing such an item. You must cease this practice of leaping before looking. Sorry. Ouch. That was a human demon double punch. Paulo, think of something that's red and can produce a feeling of sadness. Take a good look at the evidence again. Okay, not red. Not red. Not red. Not red. Red. Is it just the blood? It's the only things that I have that are red. I mean, it could have been the blood. But that's not... I don't...
Take that!
No. Something red that can produce a deep sadness. Could it be, Mr. Tenman, that what you saw was the Alderman's blood? Blood? Why, yes! It was blood! Ah! Oh! Ah! It's all coming back to me now. It wasn't a red cape that I saw. It was, lying behind the amazing Ninetales, the Alderman's bloody body. Wah! Oh, was LaBelle being the Ninetales? Doesn't have the white hair, but also we do have the hair color. I don't know. Hey! Well, that sure is a state of affairs. Hello. His noise level's down to 0. I think he's remembered everything now. Does this mean the amazing Ninetales killed Alderman QB? Because the Alderman was the amazing Ninetales, so how exactly would that work? Hey, I asked you first. Heck. Well, Mr. Justice, you sure know how to make a complicated matter even more complicated. True, but at the time of the climb, our client was in the Forbidden Chamber. Moreover...
Silence!
Boy, don't you think this strange? The little scamp has already confirmed her father to be in the Fox Chamber. But she said naught about seeing the amazing Ninetales there. Ah, you just had to bring that up, didn't you? Jinxie didn't see LaBelle there either. It's so weird. Who really was in that room then? Would the defense care to share any theories with the court? Can you explain the inconsistency between the defendant's testimony and his daughter's? She didn't see anybody because but I just say no. I cannot solve it. How could I possibly? Like strangeness. Something like that. Hold on. No, I can't. Explaining something like that would be completely possible. My colleague here is going to explain stuff crystal clear. Even if you can't explain it, you can't let them know that. Just make something up. Are you helping? Not with more of your bluffs and fairy tales, I trust. Fair warning, Justice Dono. I shall have your head if you fail to explain this. What about a good old-fashioned penalty? Well, Mr. Justice, let's see if you have a head worth keeping on your shoulders. First of all, Mr. LaBelle was definitely in the Fox Chamber while it was locked. I also know that Mayor Temno was in the Forbidden Chamber based on his testimony. These two facts are crucial in my explanation. So let us consider the following question. If the facts point to Florent LaBelle and the victim being there at the scene, why did Jinxie Tenma see the victim and her father, Mayor Tenma? That's not Mayor Tenma? Or she didn't see the alderman? Because no, I don't know. A very good question indeed. And I suppose you have an answer for us? Sadly, you'd be supposing wrong. You think she could have mistaken LaBelle for the mayor? Oh, well, if she did, then the question is, why did she do that? Well, how about that explanation, Mr. Justice? I believe the time for questions is over. The defense asserts that Florent LaBelle was at the scene of the crime. However, Jinxie Tenma has testified that she saw her father collapse there. If she has, in fact, misremembered the event, what could have made her do so? LaBelle was disguised as Tenma. She got the rooms mixed up? Jinxie was confused. So he was disguised. He was disguised in general. I don't think he was disguised as Tenma, but I think he was disguised. We'll give it a shot. The figure Miss Tenma saw was not her father. It was Florent LaBelle disguised as Damien Tenma.
Silence!
That is a complete impossibility. Their faces are utterly unlike. How could you explain that away with a mere disguise? Yes, they both do have incredibly distinctive faces. Maybe the disguise completely hid his face? I think Jinxie would imagine if she couldn't see her father's face. And if it was that sort of disguise, wouldn't she have removed it? Oh, right. Your sword is dulling your mind, Justice Dono. Shall I show you what a truly sharp blade is capable of? I think I'll pass. And now I'm dead. You okay, Paula? I'm not fine, am I? Well, now that we have that little fairy tale out of the way, your baldness, your verdict, if you will. Oh, Mr. Justice, I believe it's time for a verdict if you have no further arguments. What's even left for me to do? Show the mask. Apollo, remember what Mr. Rod always says? When you're stuck in a tight spot, turn the case upside down. Turn the case upside down? He does say that, doesn't he? But I don't quite see how it applies here. Still, never hurts to give it a try, I guess. Let's see. Thank you for the hydrate, Andres Mayo. Rather than Jinxie didn't remove the disguise, maybe she couldn't remove it? And rather than she didn't tell anyone about the disguise, maybe it was she couldn't talk about it. The Rester's mask is more precious than his own life. He'd never unmask himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's masks. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why their masks are more important to them than life itself. But what about the fact that it was the amazing Ninetales who opened the door? A mask that can't be removed in front of others. Can these facts turn things around? We got it all backwards. Apollo? I think we might have made a huge mistake. Your baldness, I see no need to further indulge in this silly little farce. Okay, so everything being backwards, meaning... Okay, so the person that Tenma saw in the gate was anybody wearing a mask. And that could be whoever was in the mask. We know about the white hair. So was it actually Alderman QB and then someone else? I don't know. The defense has no proof. They never did, and they never will. Then it seems I must announce my verdict.
Objection!
I do have proof. Do you now? Alright, but this better be good, Mr. Justice. We can solve the remaining riddles by turning all of our assumptions upside down. Why Jinxie Tenma mistook Mr. LaBelle for her father, why she couldn't remove the costume or tell anyone about it in the first place. These riddles are inextricably linked to Mayor Tenma's secret identity. A shocking secret identity that will turn the entire premise of this case upside down. So you're saying that the whole time Tenma was Ninetales? What? This piece of evidence clearly reveals Mayor Tenma's secret identity.
Take that!
Ugh. What absolute claptrap, poppycock, balderdash. We thought the
He is
alderman was...
ripped.
He's ripped. We thought the alderman was the amazing Ninetales, and the mayor was Tenmataro. That's why we believe the mayor killed the alderman in his lust for Ninetales Vale. And it was the basis for the prosecution's entire case against our client. However, we got the whole thing backwards. Mayor Tenma wasn't Tenmataro at all. He was the amazing Ninetales. Oh. What's this? You'd best explain yourself, Justice Donor, and from where you derive such a far-fetched conclusion. Jinxie no doubt knew the true identity of the amazing Ninetales, but she couldn't tell anyone no matter what. That's why she didn't say it was the amazing Ninetales she saw passed out. Even though, unbeknownst to her, it was really Florent LaBelle in disguise.
Silence!
The accused and that deceitful dandy are utterly dissimilar in physical build and voice. The little scab would have seen the difference.
Objection!
Remember, Mr. LaBelle has his very own brand of cosmetics. Why couldn't he fake a different build, too? Anyone speaking through a mask would naturally sound different.
Silence!
Why did she not simply pull the mask off?
Objection!
A masked wrestler's disguise is more precious than life itself. As a huge fan of the Amazing Ninetales, she would never dare unmask him. Wah! This case of mistaken identity also explains the riddle of the locked room. Then by all means, Mr. Justice, answer it for us already. First, Mr. LaBelle entered the room where the mayor and the alderman were talking. I suspect he brought with him coffee, laced with some sort of sedative. Once the alderman was out cold, that's when Mr. LaBelle killed him. Next, he took the mayor, who he had also drugged, into the Forbidden Chamber. Then he returned to the Fox Chamber, slipped into some of the mayor's spare clothes, and completed the disguise by donning the Amazing Ninetales' mask. With his entire charade in place, Mr. LaBelle then let out a scream. The scream that led Jinxie Tenma to the scene. Ah, so then... The person who said, I killed Alderman Kiwi was... Yep, that was Florent LaBelle, in disguise. The mayor never actually confessed.
Silence!
This is no more than guesswork and speculation. Now stop your jabbering and...
Objection!
No, you twisted samurai. This time you stop your jabbering and let me finish making my case. Once Ms. Tenma left the scene, Mr. LaBelle, still wearing the mayor's clothes and mask, opened the Forbidden Chamber, so he could drag the mayor back out into the Fox Chamber. Oh, so the Amazing Ninetales the mayor saw was... Right, it was LaBelle opening the Forbidden Chamber. The second time Mr. LaBelle opened the door of the Forbidden Chamber, he happened to catch a thieving Mr. Filch by surprise. Startled, Mr. Filch, in his Tenmataro disguise, ran as fast as he could away from the room. As he did, he left behind him a trail of feathers and tracks. He gave Miss Tenma a scare of her life in the hallway. With no one left to witness the events that had occurred, Mr. LaBelle then proceeded to drag the sleeping mayor back into the Fox Chamber. By see. Well, that all certainly does make sense. Then, after dragging the mayor back into the fox chamber, Mr. LaBelle threw the mask out the window and fled the room.
Silence.
For this absurd theory to work, it requires that the defendant be the amazing Ninetails. However, he was the one pushing for the municipal merger. That such an individual could possibly be the amazing Ninetails is preposterous.
Objection!
The mayor was blackmailed into pursuing the merger. His Tenma's life would have been in danger if he had openly voiced his opposition. Alright, we have this whole blackmail thing going on we've heard nothing about. That's why he created his secret identity as the amazing Ninetails. This is madness. No one could possibly hatch such an insane plot. No one except a killer is as insane as his plot. I'd say Florent LaBelle more than qualifies. Foolish mortal! It is at your own peril that you forget who I am. Mayor Tenma, it's okay now. Jinxie will be safe just as soon as Mr. LaBelle is arrested. You are the amazing Ninetails, aren't you? You have quite the active imagination. I got the people just sitting in the audience in the background, just kind of gazing dully forward. Mayor Tenma is not the amazing Ninetails. Has it been you the whole time?
Objection!
The whole time? What do you mean? Well, has the mayor admitted to it yet? But that just... And even if he did admit to such nonsense, I would reveal the truth behind Tenma Taro right here and now. What? Why, you! You would dare reveal a secret. My good friend, the alderman, told me all about it. But it wouldn't be good to expose the truth. What with the superstitions now, would it? The truth behind Tenma Taro? What's he talking about? So go ahead, say it. Say, I am the amazing Ninetails. I dare you.
Objection!
Wait. Will somebody please explain what's going on here? Mayor Tenma will do anything to keep the truth behind Tenma Taro a secret. Has it been you the whole time? A dark, terrible truth that has been kept secret by the village superstitions. And if the mayor admits to being the amazing Ninetails, you'll expose the truth? Right. I won't have him walking free because of some nonsense you made up. So, what now, Justice Donner? Without the mayor's admission, your theory is as useless as you are in battle. Sure, you who's useless. Paulo, don't you dare give up now. I know.
He's threatening a witness Suhul.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to be worth much in this economy. Your Honor, I believe Mr. Bell's statements warrant a thorough cross-examination. After all, the true identity of Amazing Ninetails is the cornerstone of this case. You do have a point there. Please answer this court, Mr. LaBelle. Is the defendant the Amazing Ninetails or not? Okay. This is going to be going for a while, apparently. And we're already well past our end of stream. time. I was hoping we might be close to an end, but I guess day 2 is probably still too early to expect that, isn't it? Imagine ending the game that soon.